Are you looking to buy your first table saw, or maybe just make an upgrade to the current model that you have in your shop? Today I am discussing a few things to consider while shopping for portable table saws. I'm sure a video exists talking about the car size models if that's what you fancy. But for this video, I'm sticking to portable models. The big saws, often called a cabinet table saw, is significantly larger and heavier than portable table saws, offering greater power, stability, and precision for heavy-duty cutting, while a portable table saw is smaller, lighter, and designed to be easily moved around job sites, sacrificing some power and accuracy for portability. And here's a few things to consider. Consider how deep you need to cut into the material. Look for a fence that is sturdy, easy to adjust, and locked securely in place for accurate cuts. Ensure the miter gauge slides smoothly and has positive stops at common angles like 45 and 90 degrees. Prioritize features like a blade guard, riveting knife, and anti-kickback pawls to prevent accidents. Check for a good dust collection port to keep your workspace clean. Consider the weight and size of the table saw, whether it has wheels or folding legs for easy transportation. Evaluate the size of your work table to accommodate the materials that you plan to cut. Both my table saw and miter saw have been by my side throughout my first house remodel, then my wife and I built a tiny house and a garage, and I've been making stuff with you for about 2 years. I have not once wished that I had a larger cabinet table saw, nor have I faced difficulties with the project because of the smaller, portable equipment that I use here in my shop. If this is your first table saw purchase, there's no reason to spend over $500, as long as a cheaper model will get the job done for you. I upgraded from a Craftsman model to Bosch, and it's not a brand war thing, nothing happened. This is just as nice as a table saw you can get with Craftsman, and then it steps up to nicer table saws with DeWalt and Bosch, and bigger names. Both have 10-inch blades, 15 amps, 120 volt plugs, and overall the specs are nearly identical. But after owning both models and using both for about a week and a half on this guy, I definitely know why there is a price jump. Red is only 48 pounds, while the blue is 91. If you are using the provided stand, the blue one is much nicer, especially if you have a small shop or garage where you find yourself rearranging tools all the time. I didn't bother to assemble my stand because if you are going to give it a permanent home like I did, the stands won't matter as much. Both tables are nice and about the same size. Made out of thick steel, they do step up to a few cast iron models. That is well beyond whatever I'm looking at. I've never had any issues with a portable saw having a steel table. Now the throat plates are a little different. This one here is plastic, as you're going to find on a lot of models. This one is metal. You could look for a metal throat plate. It just doesn't have any flex or bend, as this one, it has a lot of it. Now this one is a little bit old, maybe that's why, but as I'm pushing a piece of material through and my push stick hits this, it dips down. It's a very scary spot to do that because there's a big spinny thing right here, and that can just lead to accuracy and safety issues. You could make your own insert out of wood, but I'm talking about how things come fresh out of the box. And fresh out of the box, you get this guy, which is a piece of plastic, versus the Bosch, which is 100% metal. Seems a lot more sturdy. Rip capacity is something to pay attention to because portable table saws are getting much better at making those numbers astronomically huge. On the Craftsman model, I had only 10 inches to the left side of my blade and 12 inches to the right side before adding on some sort of a fence extension. And that was a big pain button for me since I regularly find myself needing to cut a board that's 15 inches or wider on the table saw, meaning I have to get out a circular saw and some sawhorses and blah, 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 blah. On the new Bosch model, I have 14 inches on the left side and 32 inches on the right side. That's hardly even in frame anymore. And at this size, that's almost not manageable alone in the shop. Red uses a simple locking fence, while blue has a pin and rip fence, which utilizes a rack and pinion mechanism for precise adjustments. I've never had an issue with just the good old sliding fence, as it locks into place pretty tight and it doesn't really have too much give. However, this system just glides and moves so much smoother. Another feature is having a low height rip fence, which just allows you a little extra space when cutting thin or small material to keep your fence farther away from the blade and allow space for push blocks, push sticks, things of that nature. Another widely overlooked feature of a table saw is the power switch itself. This one here features a little clip so that I don't accidentally turn it on. And when I'm ready to turn it off, I hit this big red button. See how I'm not even looking at it? I know right where it's at. I can also hit it with my knee since my hands are generally occupado. Now this saw here, not so easy. Oh, we have no fingers now. Because when you're ready to shut down your saw, you're ready to shut down your saw. You can see here that the red model has a lot of vibration. See that push stick moving around? I was amazed at just how little vibration I got when cutting with this new saw. The port on my new saw is slightly smaller than the old one, so I added a 2-inch rubber pipe adapter, which is on majority of my tools anyways. And that covers the basics of what to look for when shopping for your new table saw. No matter what brand or size, again, the main thing is that it fits your specific needs. Rip capacity, portability, and cut depth being the most important. If you are just starting out, do not get intimidated by the more powerful and big flashy machines. I was scared when I went to Six Flags for the first time, so I said, let's do the wooden coasters that don't go upside down or anything fancy, and work up to the flips and corkscrews. Boy, was I wrong. The scary shaking and rattling of the wooden coaster shook the adrenaline right out of my body. And guess what? At the time, the scary coasters, they were smooth and quiet, far less scary. And that being said, the smallest and cheapest table saws pose the most safety risks. Just look at this little guy. He's terrifying to run. It's the only one I even have safety features installed on. That's how scary. This video was a quick throw together because I have got projects booked out for the next 3 months, plus planter season is coming up and you know I want that money. I also want to get this saw out of here. I want to get the old box out of here, free up a little bit of space, but I wanted to touch base and tell you guys a few of the differences between the saw that I used to have and the new saw that I had bought, just to wrench out a little information. Fun story is I actually went to the store to buy a new miter saw because that is 12 years old, and I have the blessing from the wife to upgrade the miter saw, so that's what the game plan was. And they had this saw actually on sale, and I was like, ooh, it is Bosch, it's gonna match the miter saw, that would be pretty sweet. And I did want to upgrade the table saw, it just wasn't as serious of an issue as the miter saw was. La la la. I'm glad that I upgraded this. There will be a video on upgrading the miter saw here soon when I have some planter box money. We're gonna upgrade that. It'll be kind of the same premise of a video. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. I feel like I'm rambling, so this is where the video is gonna end.